Yeah, so this slap cover, super cool. It's crazy, like the quality. This looks like it was shot with like an Instamatic camera or something like that. I like looking at this and seeing like, the board tells you when it was. I mean, literally those wheels are probably like 42s or something like that. And that board looks like it's like, I mean, I don't have big feet and they're hanging off either side. That board's like probably a 7.5 or something.
Yeah.
So this was my first pro contest.
Oh.
And I would have been 18. This was at a place called The Brick in New Jersey.
Oh.
So no graphics on the board, we were anti everything. It had to have no logos, I can imagine like now that being the owner of Plan B, how annoying that would be for a company owner to see your guys. I mean, beyond that, we might even show up wearing like a Stereo t-shirt or something like that. Little shits. This was really cool. Even at small pads, jeans, I mean, this is just like, we were in the streets. Like, vert was just like a afterthought, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
So going to this contest, really rad, being with all the, like my first time being with the pros. I was around them forever, but now we're gonna compete. One of my fondest memories, or one of the coolest things about this, is when I think this is the same ramp and probably the same like hour as there's a clip of John Cardiel doing his first padless 540. And he says something about Danny and I standing on the ramp. And so like, that's the session, like a lot of really rad pros on there. And this was a complete surprise to me. So it was a huge honor to get a slap cover.
Who shot it?
I would guess that would be Lance Dawes. It was super cool.
Yeah.
This cover, so most of the times I think, and like especially nowadays, you don't know when you're gonna get a cover. So it's a complete shock and you get the Thrasher in the mail or whatever. And of course, huge honor. But this one was, hey, we're gonna give you a cover. So we're gonna fly, Mouse was the photographer, we're gonna fly Mouse up to shoot something of you. And where I was at the time, like, it wasn't even a consideration to do like a cover on vert because we were just in the streets, you know what I mean? So the interesting thing about this cover, it's a funny story. We were driving around the city, downtown Vancouver, looking for like, where can we shoot a cover? Where can we shoot a cover? And then all of a sudden we look over and there's this building on fire, huge fire. And there happened to be this spot, which is now, people call it the hot spot in Vancouver. It's right beside the Vancouver Skate Plaza. This was like literally built like a couple weeks before we took this. So we look over, there's this big fire, and it was like, wow, there's this new spot on top of this bridge that's right there. Maybe we could go shoot something right there. So Mouse was driving the car, and he's racing kind of through the city to get over, to get up there. And he gets pulled over by a cop. So for speeding, or maybe it was like no seatbelt. And Mouse is flipping out. He's like talking shit to the cop, like, how dare you pull me out? And just like flipping out because this building is burning down in the background too. And so super high stress for him. I mean, we were laughing, but like he was stressing. And so the cop gives him a ticket and it's taking so long and he's flipping out and he's like, okay. And like, I think it was a no seatbelt ticket. So fine. He like takes the ticket and crumbles it up and throws it down and then takes off. And like, he didn't put his seatbelt on. So literally, whoop, cop lights us up again, pulls him over again. And he's having a meltdown in here because this building is literally burning down. So whatever, he gets a second ticket. We get up there. These ledges, we're like, okay, these ledges have never been skated. They're dry as a bone. And even though we're in the streets, I'm like, dude, what can I do on a ledge here? I'm not really a ledge dude. So whatever, we worked it out. We did this. At the time, switch crooks were kind of new. So it worked out, and so that's the flame cover for Transworld. It's the funny little story behind it.
Awesome.
my next cover would have been this one. There's not too much story behind this. This is on a ramp that was when it wasn't, I don't think it was the mega ramp. I think it was that first ramp that Danny did the first thing on. I mean, it was called the super ramp, but the difference is I think this ramp was like
downtown.
more like 18 feet high versus like now they're like, 24 feet high. The roll-in was much higher than that, but I'm talking about the quarter pipe on the other side. And I don't know, I was always like, just trying to do some street shit on, you know what I mean? Even though here I was skating a lot more vert than before. There's nothing crazy going on here. That's just a kickflip in. People would do that now with their eyes closed.
And this was when it was in downtown at the skateboard heaven.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. In just a grimy location with rusted metal everywhere. If you fly off the ramp, you could get some serious infections.
Whose magazine was this one? Can you see who that was?
What do you mean? Who shot this?
No.
Who was that? Heath Brinkley. That's funny.
All right.
So yeah, that was that shot by Jody Morris. That was like, that took us like half hour to do.
Gotcha.
That wasn't any big thing. So this cover, this one was really cool, really special to me because this is like way later in my career. I was, an OG at this point. We went on we were on a DC trip and we were going from it was all over Europe and then to Japan. And I was just showing up whatever, and there's this spot and I was with Wes and Evan was there and bunch of the newer DC kids or whatever. And this was literally the first spot, the first day. And it was kind of tough to skate all these bricks. It was a lot harder than it looks. But, whatever. I was just like, okay, let me just whip a little backside grab or whatever. This is cool for me because, I was not expecting this at all. So when I got home, that was a surprise to me, being of all the, rad young dudes that were on the trip, and they hooked up the OG with the cover. So, super, super humbled by that one. That was really cool.
And who shot it?
That is in Stuttgart, Germany, I believe.
Okay.
And who was it that shot that?
Playback.
Yeah, it was O'Mealy that shot it. I didn't know.
Okay.
I knew O'Mealy was there, and I thank O'Mealy greatly for this cover because I know he's the one that made that thing happen. So thank you, Mike. I really appreciated that one. I think DC at the time was pissed that I had a Plan B shirt, and who cares? So then this cover, it's cool that I finally got a vert cover, I guess, or I guess the first one was. Yeah. But this cover, I was in Hawaii. This is at Danny's mega compound in Hawaii. This ramp, I believe I think the measurement is 40 feet high on that right there. And it's I'm not comfortable being up there. It is not fun for me like it is for Danny. Someone has a Merry Christmas card in here. Oh, it's Dear Santa. That's nice. And so let me just see here. Oh, and there's Sluggo.
Yeah, right.
Sluggo over there. No, I was not surprised. I knew this was going to happen. So this is dope. It's Skateboard Canada. Of course, I really want to be on the cover of Skateboard Canada once in my career.
Yeah.
This was shot by Anthony Acosta. I was really happy with how it turned out just because of the sheer. But when you skate this and you're going up there and you're waiting, and then you go up and beep boop, little nollie flip, and then stick it down, and you're waiting, and it's just such a trip for me. I couldn't roll in on this ramp. It's got 150 foot cement roll in, and this is not my thing, but when I'm rolling down the roll in and I'm just waiting okay, and it's I can't help but laugh out loud every time. And so, yeah, I was stoked on this thing, and I was grateful to be on the cover of SBC Skateboard Canada, because that was a really dope mag out of Canada. Still is. And then lastly, this one, Concrete Powder. This is our ramp. This is the DC ramp, and we had, you know, again, Danny had built this little like weird like extension jump and you crossed over here. This was my favorite ramp that we ever had of all time, and this was nothing ever really, like, I don't think any other trick went down across this thing. We would just cruise in a nice big frontside ollie or something into that, but I can't recall another trick going down. But yeah, that was just like, again, stoked to be on the cover of Concrete Powder. I guess it's called Concrete Skateboarding by this time. When it first started,
snowboarding,
it was
and
called
skating.
Concrete Powder, and then they dialed it in. And so another Canadian, honor to be on this Canadian skateboard mag. And yeah, so that was that one.
Cool. Colin, can you think from early days what stands out in your mind as a classic cover of any of your friends, anything that really made an impact on you as a younger kid?
I mean, there's so many. I mean, shoot, as younger kids, like, what covers are like my favorite covers? One of my favorite covers is the one that had just Chris Miller's face on the cover. It's endless. Danny's helicopter cover, obviously, was a big one. Sluggo, my buddy in here, his backflip cover, that was really cool because, you know, he invented the backflip, which is kind of commonplace now, but at that time that was like a really, really crazy thing that happened. So I always wanted to be on a Thrasher cover, and Jake was always like, whenever you get the photo, we'll put you on the cover. And I did not take advantage of that situation. I don't think it's going to happen at this stage in my career, so I missed that one, and I really regret not working harder to do that. But, you know,
this is good.
Super proud to have been this little slice of skateboarding right here, and super grateful to all the photographers that helped me get this done. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Colin.